my name is Daniel. I work for a clothing company called Huffer. We are based in Auckland City, which is in New Zealand. We supply 100 odd stores throughout New Zealand, Australia, Japan, and the US of A. And I'm here today with the one and only Kristine Crabb.
Yes, and I do the Miss Crabb label. It's based in Auckland, and we've got a store in Ponsonby. We make really beautiful feminine women's wear. Yeah, that's just really exciting. We've been going for 5 years now.
Kristine, could you please tell the readers at FashionZ about your collaboration with Huffer?
Well, I thought it would be a really exciting project, a new kind of way of working with these amazing professionals. I just wanted to sort of see if I could apply kind of my way of working and my ideas and things to their market and see what happens, really. Yeah, what do you think, Dan?
Yeah, well, I've seen a few of the pieces that we've been working on. The range that Kristine's talking about is winter 2010, and we've probably got about half of the range sampled, and it's hanging on the rack in my office and looking pretty sharp, and so it's a pretty exciting thing. And Kristine has a very different set of aesthetic values in regard to fashion, and so like her silhouettes, and you know, there are a lot of elements that differ very muchly from what we currently produce, so it's a pretty exciting step into some beautiful woman's wear with Kristine. Like, where there's an open sense of creativity and a real acceptance of ideas, and so it creates a good fusion.
It's amazing, yeah. I knew Steve a tiny bit, and I had met Dan in photos.
Yeah, we met at one time in that photo.
So there was a bit of a relationship.
Well, not a relationship, but we
knew each other.
Kissed
yeah.
once or twice. Was it Steve? Did he approach you? Or was it a bit of a...
No, it was a little bit indirect, which was nice.
Yeah.
And then...
Was it happening? Huh?
Yeah, I kind of heard through the grapevine, and then one day I thought, actually, this is a really great idea. So I'll see what they're up to, and yeah, got in touch with Steve, and yeah, just went from there. Yeah, well, it's actually been such an interesting way of working with Huffer because, like, for instance, we make everything in-house. We do all the sampling and cutting and everything like that. But Huffer has amazing suppliers who do it all on a bigger scale. So it's been really amazing to kind of learn the whole process and yeah, just work in a really tight kind of professional way.
Yeah, we've got some pretty sort of good production planning and a great production team. We've got a guy Aaron and another girl Ella that Kristine's been working very closely with, and they're very process driven, where we adhere to deadlines pretty tightly, and we've got a pretty regimented structure, whether that's required within the 15-person team that we have. Yesterday afternoon I had a pretty insightful conversation with our very commercially minded New Zealand sales manager. He's on the working the coalface, chipping away. He's with our buyers on a daily basis, 5 times a day, and he understands them implicitly. It freaks him out, like it's sort of, because he understands what Kristine is, and it's high fashion and it's more minimal garments sold, but then Kristine's interpretation of what Huffer requires and what Huffer wants and who a Huffer customer is has kind of worked, because we had Justin sort of shat his pants a little bit, but then because there's a lot of stuff hanging on the rack right now, so the general idea of it sort of freaked him out a little bit, but then in seeing what's hanging on the rack right now, he's really quite excited with what's happened. So that's the real test, whether we can sell in 100 units plus. Ideally we want to be touching 300 or 400 units, or like in some, every now and then we'll knock 1,000 units on a real successful piece.
And that was part of the challenge for me wanting to do it as well, is to apply my kind of quite classic ideas to this Huffer brand. I think people were quite surprised, but then I think it makes sense, really.
Fashion Week 2009, and it's going to be a little bit of a media frenzy. We're getting pretty good at producing some pretty stellar shows, and so we've got a show happening this year that's going to exceed what we did last year, and so hand in hand with Kristine, because Huffer's not so much a fashion brand, and doing a catwalk show is probably not 100% like what we're about, because we're more perhaps sportswear, I suppose, but with a twist of fashion. But then we're making these moves that are sort of leading into more of a fashion realm, and so yes, very exciting.
I did a fashion show in 2005. It's nice to kind of not to have to organise, do all the putting together of a show. And
the beginnings, or probably half of winter 2010, that Huffer have been working on with young and lovely Mrs. Kristine Crabb right here. And right here we've got a few key pieces. And Kristine, please discuss with us what's happening here?
Little crop t-shirt. We've used a lot of this drawstring detailing so that you can wear it all sorts of different ways, which is kind of a key thing about what we do with Miss Crabb, is it's really versatile so that it suits a lot of different body types, and it is exciting and creative to actually wear.
Cool, that's very cool, and that's very astute from Kristine, and I'll show another example of that ruching, do we call it? Like, this is a mini skirt here that's pretty exciting. It's got a big dangler on the bottom there.
So you can just you can ruche it around your waist or lower, and then if you want you can show a bit of leg, and just nice, and it's kind of dynamic, you know.
Like baggy and kind of drapular, like drapey, but then you can yank it up a little bit and show some skin at the same time.
Drapey and big, but then you can cinch them or ruche them.
In regard to that, Kristine's also produced this piece here, which is a real voluminous coat. Like, it's got a lot, like way too much fabric in it, but it's you cinch it in at the waist and it creates a real crazy silhouette. Like, it's just like it's got so much fabric in it. You know, it's like a big, super snuggle. It's a beautiful coat. So that's gonna kill this winter, right?
Yeah.
Amazing fashion from the one and only Kristine Crabb.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.